Of all the places in the world to do business, who would choose Venezuela? It's approaching its 8th year of recession. 1/5 of the population has emigrated. A long-term political crisis remains unresolved. Its government is heavily sanctioned by the United States. And the pandemic is far from over. But that old saying that every crisis brings an opportunity has proved true here. Despite everything, some are taking a bet on Venezuela. We took a look at 2 companies, one with grand ambitions to become Latin America's rival to Uber, another on a smaller scale whose founder returned to Venezuela to set up a barbershop on wheels. It's Friday afternoon at the headquarters of Yummy in Caracas. This tech company provides work to over 10,000 people and is about to expand to Peru and Ecuador. It began as a delivery app, but now is offering a ride-hailing service. Today is its induction day for more drivers. Dozens are signing up every week. Take a look at the office and you'll notice that almost the entire workforce here is under 30 years old. And that includes the management. Co-founder and chief executive Alejandro Sierra successfully raised funding from technology investors in the United States to help set up the firm. He admits that was not an easy sell.
When you think about all the things that in Venezuela are not done yet, there's a huge potential there for investors, but they will still think about the risk. To invest in Venezuela, it was one of the biggest alerts for those investors based on the history that the country has. And, you know, how we kind of convinced them was to, you know, get things done.
Yummy, which is seeking to become Latin America's super app, told us that Venezuela does have some advantages. One is a lack of competition. Uber, for example, is not here yet. And there's no shortage of potential employees keen to earn a few dollars an hour in a country where years of hyperinflation means state salaries in the local currency have collapsed. Fabiola is one of the new hires who's signed up to work for Yummy Rides. She's using her own car as a taxi. This is not a line of work she ever imagined doing just 2 years ago. But a deep economic crisis and then a pandemic changed her mind. And she says the job suits her.
Los salarios son muy bajos y los beneficios también, los gastos que se ocasionan para salir a trabajar son muy altos, no hay transporte. La situación del país es muy dura, el metro no sirve, entonces esto es una alternativa para uno, para prestar un servicio y para la gente que está buscando movilizarse, es una alternativa muy rápida, pues.
She says she found a particular niche as a female driver in a male-dominated industry.
Te cuento que mi experiencia particular, hasta los hombres me han comentado que se sienten mejor y más seguros con una mujer manejando.
This has all become possible, she says, because she's allowed to be paid in dollars.
El cambio, bueno, que está generando ingresos en dólares y ya este país está casi que dolarizado. Yummy te paga en dólares.
The US dollar is also the preferred form of payment at this barbershop. Another business that's showing signs of growth despite all the challenges in this unusual economy. In March last year, its owner, Carlos, was about to rent a premises in a shopping mall. But then the pandemic struck, the mall was closed, so he decided to mount the business on 4 wheels.
Y comencé a investigar sobre los camiones de barbería alrededor del mundo y vi que podía hacer una innovación aquí en mi país.
He hasn't looked back. He says he's making more money than he would have if he'd set up a conventional barbershop.
Es un modelo de negocio más, más fácil de manejar, por decirlo así, ya que no hay que pagar como quien dice un condominio, no hay que pagar alquiler del local. Si se fija, también estamos como quien dice innovando y el público como que le gusta ya cambiar esa monotonía de ir a un local a cortarse el cabello y prefieren venir a camiones a comer o camiones a afeitarse, vivir la innovación de la experiencia diferente.
His chief barber, Anderson, says the pandemic, for all its tragedies, helped make him think out of the box.
La pandemia hizo que todo cambiara. Ya la gente ya no va a centros comerciales a cortarse, sino prefiere venir al camión o a otro sitio a cortarse el cabello que no sea un centro comercial. La pandemia ayudó bastante. Ayudó a que unos crecieran también.
Carlos, the business owner, spent some time in Panama during the worst of the crisis. It gave him an opportunity, he says, to see how companies like this work. He says he's had no shortage of customers prepared to pay $10 for a haircut in this part of Caracas. And a lack of competition means business is not as cutthroat as it is elsewhere in the world.
Sí, correctamente. Ahorita Venezuela se encuentra en un momento donde está bueno para invertir, es un país que está fresco para innovar, nuevos proyectos, y creí mi país, en vez de invertir en otro país como lo estaba haciendo antes, me vine con todas esas energías y esa fuerza a invertir aquí en el país.
That view may be surprising, given that Venezuela currently ranks 188th of all the countries in the world in terms of ease of doing business, according to the World Bank. But Carlos is not alone in thinking that those statistics don't quite tell the full story.
It's very unique feeling, even more for me because I actually left the country for about 7 years and then I came back. And to be honest, I gotta be honest with this, I was one of the ones that thought, you know, I just want to make my life like in another place. And you know, like as I was actually speaking with some other friends, and like the problems you're gonna face in here, they're here. But if you go to another place, there are gonna be another problems that you gotta face, and you're gonna be willing to deal with those. And I don't know, somehow when you are in the place where you were born, like you kind of feel differently, and you, like the passion you feel about something, doing something for the country, it's way more different.
His new driver agrees. Fabiola, as the daughter of Spanish parents, could easily leave Venezuela. So what keeps her here? Love for her country and hope that it will improve.
Siempre la esperanza es lo último que se pierde, señor. Siempre va a tener esperanza. Yo me niego a irme de mi país. Yo amo Venezuela, amo su cultura, amo los venezolanos y no me quiero ir. Tengo todas las posibilidades para irme y no me voy. Mis hermanos están en España, mis sobrinos. Bueno, me dicen todos los días, tía, vente, tía, vente. No, me niego a abandonar mi tierra.
So she is staying, convinced that the one thing this country is not short of is potential.